Welcome to the Farzy Show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzy. That is a little show we like to call the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Way to go, 76ers. Way to go, 76ers fans. Way to go, City of Philadelphia. I'm proud of you. The possession boo, if you will, is, I think, above and beyond my favorite boo. It definitely beats the introduction boo, where you just boo the guy when he's introduced. That's like, everyone's getting booed. Everyone's like, it's like, Kevin Durant sucks. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things during, that's one of my favorite jeers. But the possession boo, every time somebody touches the ball, every time somebody touches the puck, and we're booing as a city, as a stadium, as a fan base. Oh, man, I love it. That's by far my favorite of all the boos. Other than Jack Daniels, I thank you, which we'll find out tonight during the Farzy Show party, 8 o'clock. You want an invite? Hit me up on social media, send you a link, and we'll all get together. We'll all do a show together. Drink a choice. We'll just have ourselves a good time. That's right. We'll talk some sports, talk about the show, talk about yous guys, and everything. It'll be a great time. But I couldn't be happier for the Sixers. Here's the thing, though. Because it was Ben Simmons' return, and I get it, rightfully so, everyone's talking about Ben's return as opposed to how Tobias Harris played, how D'Anthony Melton played in last night's game, how Paul Reed played in last night's game, how George Niang was incredible as well. Oh, my God. All the emotion that you could have brought to a basketball game, to a regular season basketball game, George Niang brought that emotion and that intensity in last night's win. Loved how the guys fought, Tobias Harris especially. And we'll talk even about that Stan Van Gundy character, because you guys know me. I am not one for the national announcer hates my team. I always like to invoke this line, which is a bastardized line from the comedian and actor Michael Ian Black, where he talks about gentlemen's clubs, and he says, he talks about like thinking his kid is gifted versus, basically that mindset. And I'll bastardize the line. You guys can watch it yourself. But here's how I think. If you think the national announcer hates your team, then you're the same person who goes to the strip club and thinks, hey, she really likes me. Okay? So that's what I think about. That's what I think about national announcers. That's what I think about fans that think the national announcers hate your team. I don't know what Stan Van Gundy's problem was last night, but at halftime, I think he was starting to see some hate, or the producer for TNT was starting to see the amount of hate he was getting on the old social media there, and he totally changed course in the second half. But in that first half, I'll say this, he was really trolling the Philadelphia fan base. Really trolling the Philadelphia. I thought this would be louder for Ben Simmons. I thought there'd be more boos for Ben Simmons. Oh, come on, Philly. What is this? This is nothing. I'm a little disappointed. He was really doing a hell of a job in trolling us. And it was so annoying that, like, I caught wind of it. Like, I don't, usually the announcer speaks and I'm like, and I just concentrate on the game, the sounds of the game and all that stuff. But this time I was like, is it like the third or fourth time? I feel like he's talking about the fan base a lot here. And we became a big part of the story as well. Here's how big the game was last night. The game was covered twice on the old Action News last night. Yeah, Rob Brooks over there, and he was covering the story, or Bob Brooks. Hey, he was covering the story for the Wells Fargo Center about fans' reaction to Ben Simmons and all that stuff. Well, so that was fun. And then they covered it in sports with old Deuces there. My man Deuces, love Deuces Rogers. And then on Sports Center, it was the lead story, covered twice in Sports Center as well. Ben Simmons returns to Philadelphia. And what did the 76ers do? What did Tobias Harris and company do? They slap him in the face. And what does Ben Simmons do? Well, as our friend Michael KB points out here, I'll just point out the real sweet thing that went on in this, which of course is not in my notes now. Great, but let's just say struggled. Let's just say struggled mightily in this game when it came to the fourth quarter. He had like 3 assists right out of the gate. And then after that was not really a factor, especially in that fourth quarter, as we know all too well. But most people were even pointing it out last night also that there was just a lot of problems, a lot of issues throughout this game. Getting a tweet. Oh, hold on. PJ just sent me something. Charles Barkley on Ben Simmons. Quote, When Ben Simmons was walking into the building, I saw this is great. Ben Simmons walking into the Wells Fargo Center was wearing a big jacket, and Charles Barkley said he's wearing that big old jacket because he got a bulletproof vest on under there. I don't think he's too far off. But it was wild watching that game last night and watching Tobias Harris, who was questionable to play, watching D'Anthony Melton come off start in the game yesterday and do what he did in this game. Stat-wise, the Sixers team for your starting five was Tucker, Harris, Harrell, Milton, and Melton. 22 points by D'Anthony Melton. He was 6 for 11 from beyond the arc. Then Tobias Harris led all scorers last night with 24 points on 10 for 21 shooting. And he even hit a 3 late in the game to help solidify this victory. I was impressed with everything. George Niang off the bench was great. Paul Reed was phenomenal with a double-double, 19 points, 10 rebounds. It was just great all around. Had a couple of blocks to his name. It's a shame. Now, look, this game doesn't get the attention it gets without Ben Simmons playing in this game. Without Ben Simmons returning and playing in Philly for the first time. He had been here before, but rode the bench, right? He was injured. This game doesn't get the attention without Ben Simmons being a factor. But when you beat the Brooklyn Nets, and I know that's not exactly elite company this year, but when you beat the Brooklyn Nets in this fashion, without Joel Embiid, without James Harden, without Tyrese Maxey, that is still a huge feather in your cap. And this game, I put it out on social media afterwards, this game was all effort. This game was all about desire and wanting to win. Tobias Harris making the decision that, hell, I'm playing in this game tonight. Love that. Team needed him last night. And you know what? It was good to see Tobias Harris actually shine last night because he gets so overshadowed by Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey after 99.9% of the time, all the time that they're out there. It was good to see that he still's got some skills to him. And he was able to help take over this basketball game. They don't win it on Tobias Harris's back alone. I just rattled off for you other guys that stepped up in a huge way for this team to get the victory last night. But Tobias Harris was doing it everywhere. Was playing great defense, was getting into the lane, was hitting little buddy shots. It was great. Everything he was doing last night was phenomenal. He rolls his ankle again, excuse me, at another point in the game, comes back and still helps the team win. We'll hear him talking about that coming up in just a second. But they don't get this attention without Ben Simmons playing in this game last night. The Nets are always, even without Ben Simmons, because it's KD, because it's Kyrie, whenever they come to town, you're always going to have a certain energy about this matchup. But in this particular game, with all the energy in that building, it was great to see them come up with a big win. And Doc Rivers talked about it after the game, said, actually denied the idea, which is just ludicrous, but denied the idea that it had anything to do with Ben Simmons, denied the idea it had anything to do with Ben's return, and it was just all about this team winning because they were shorthanded. I believe that to a certain extent because, come on, if you're any team and you're down your best players and you play and you rise above and play great, then that's going to mean something to you. That game is going to mean a lot to you, and I get that. But I have no doubt in my mind that when the crowd is into it as much as they were last night, and you don't have your stars, and you yourself are supposed to be a star in Tobias Harris, you want to rise to the occasion, and you want to be the reason they win this game. He was a big reason they won this game. The way these other guys played also, it was a team win. It was the definition of a team win. But Tobias Harris obviously was leading them on the court last night. And as far as vibes go, man, Paul Reed was all hustle in last night's game. All hustle, which led to production for the 76ers big man who did not get the start last night. George Niang coming off the bench, knocking down 4 threes for you last night, en route to 16 points. That brought the energy. That brought the production for the Sixers last night. Seeing him get in the face of Ben Simmons was on. When George Niang was on this show last season, when Ben Simmons made his first return to the Wells Fargo Center, where he was sitting on the bench because he wasn't playing. George Niang even said, yeah, he's got something to say. He's got something to say to the bench when Ben Simmons is sitting there. And sure enough, they get on the court at the same time, and they're jawing back and forth with each other to the point where Ben feels like he can get away with a little bit of a shove of George Niang, to which George Niang says, all right, the ref's not going to call that. I got it. Gives him a little forearm shiver, and Ben, embellish it. Ben, I got me. He got me. Like, all right, Ben. Oh, he got me, eh? Anyway, it's not at all what Ben Simmons sounds like. Anyway, I was stupid for the flagrant to get called in that situation, but it did. That's today's NBA. Flagrants are definitely not the flagrants we grew up with, kids. But that's where we're at right now, and it was great to see George Niang with that energy. One other thing from last night's game is I want to make sure that my feelings on Ben Simmons are very much out there. I think Ben just can't get out of his own way. And I've told you guys many times before about being at the game 7 against the Hawks, where Ben Simmons passed up on the dunk, passed the thigh ball. We all know what happened. And since then, all the events that have unfolded, I just think Ben did not want to be here anymore. And I know a lot of people talk about mental health. You can have your doubts about Ben Simmons and the mental health game. You can have your doubts about Ben Simmons and still support mental health and still support people that go through some stuff in their life. A lot of people like myself who have their doubts about Ben Simmons, they make it specifically about Ben Simmons and being very familiar with the situation and following the story as time went on. So I got my doubts. I just don't think he wanted to be here anymore. And if you're really having the mental health issues, it is hugely suspect that the only time you showed up was when you would start losing money. That's a pretty big thing to just push aside. And I have been wildly compassionate. I've gone through my own health stuff in my day, in my time. And I have certainly supported guys like Brandon Brooks who went through it, and Lane Johnson who went through it. You have my support. You have my compassion. But when there are so many suspect things that pop up around Ben Simmons at that time, and I know some people that were at the game last night that were being interviewed by different TV stations were talking, hey, mental health, hey, good for you, God bless you, all that stuff. And you know what? That's your mentality. That's the way you want to feel about it. But I don't see how you come to that conclusion after following the story as closely as most of us did surrounding Ben Simmons. I don't like the guy. And when he was on the court last night, when he was getting introduced last night for how he quit on the team, for what he was supposed to be and the support this city and this organization gave him as a basketball player, I for the life of me, can't think of anybody else that I despise walking on a Philadelphia sports venues, court, field, ice, whatever. I can't think of anybody that I despise more than Ben Simmons. And to hear Philadelphia finally get the opportunity to voice that frustration surrounding Ben Simmons, it felt great. Just to let us have that vent. Just to let us have it, get it all out right now. Because guess what? When he comes back, it's still going to be there. And Ben knows that. Ben said it after the game. I give him credit for it. He said, it's not going to change. Like when he was asked the question, and I played it for you guys yesterday, about, do you think enough time has passed in Philadelphia? And he was like, what? He gave him that look like, what? Are you crazy? In Philadelphia? Ben did say after the game he thought it would be louder. It wasn't. Hey, sorry to disappoint. But Ben said after the game that he knows that this is the way it's going to be for the rest of his career. And he's right. That's exactly. We're not getting over this. We're not forgetting this. We booed J.D. Drew forever whenever he came back to Philadelphia. He didn't even play here. He literally said, don't draft me. I don't want to play here. The Phillies drafted him. Guess what? He didn't want to play here. He was gone. And then batteries. Hopefully the batteries thing never happens. I'm going to go ahead and root against that. I don't condone violence. No, I don't like that. Projectiles, no. I even said yesterday, no projectiles. I was right. Good to be right on that one. But Ben coming back here certainly caused a lot of drama and will continue to cause a lot of drama every time he comes back to Philadelphia to play on the Wells Fargo Center floor. Great to see the fans react the way they did. And I also think I speak for, and I don't like doing this because, like I said, you guys have your own social media outlets. You guys can speak for yourself. But I do think I speak for all Philadelphians everywhere, all Sixers fans everywhere, when I say, hey, Ben, thanks for the free chicken nuggets. Dream come true when he missed them shots. Third quarter, I think it was. He missed 2 free throws. Thanks, Ben. And how great was it that after he went to the free throw line for the flagrant foul on Niang with the little tussle there, how great was it he missed a shot? That was great, too. Oh, it just felt so good. Felt so good. One thing the last night was missing. And if you were like Stan Van Gundy and thought it should have been louder, if you were like Ben Simmons and thought it should have been louder, wait till Joel is on the court. Wait till James Harden, wait till this is a matchup of the stars of the team versus Ben Simmons and the Brooklyn Nets. And let's not wait. Let's not just watch an underdog team like Tobias Harris led 76ers out on the court. I want to see, everyone wants to see Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons go at it on the blocks. Everybody wants to see that. And Ben Simmons he contradicted himself after last night's game when he was talking to reporters. And he said that you're not cool with everybody. He's got friends that he's cool with, but he doesn't keep in touch with them. And he was alluding to Joel Embiid. So in one breath, he was cool with him. In another breath, he wasn't cool with him. I'm going to go ahead and say that if the two haven't talked since the trade, and Ben Simmons told Joel Embiid and a whole slew of other players, hey, don't come out here to Los Angeles where I am to try to patch things up right before the season. Oh, come on. If you're not out, you come out before. Why would I let you come out now? And that whole debacle went down. If Ben Simmons told Joel Embiid, don't come out here, and told Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris, don't come out here, and T-Stop, don't come out here, and they still haven't talked, I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're not cool. And being that everyone kind of knows that now, I think everyone else is still very much looking forward to seeing Joel Embiid take on Ben Simmons on the basketball court, which we have still yet to see. Plus, not to mention, they are two pretty good players. And Joel Embiid backing down Ben Simmons, that would be a nice sight. I would watch that. I'd love that. Watching Joel Embiid go up and get an N1 on Ben Simmons, ooh, yeah, let's drink it in, folks. That'll go down smooth. And I know that's why a lot of the venom, passion, whatever have you, that's what was missing from last night's game. Yes, we got the frustrations out. We booed Ben and all that stuff. But knowing that it's our best going up against their best, that's what I need to see. Oh, I've mentioned this a couple times. The hustle of the 76ers last night. Now, the Brooklyn Nets are a terrible team in terms of second chance points. They give up the most second chance points in the NBA. The Sixers last night, 25-7. They outscored the Brooklyn Nets 25-7 in second chance points. That is all hustle right there. That's beating guys on the glass. That's how many times have we watched, especially over the last 2 years where the Sixers have been terrible rebounding the basketball. How many times have we been yelled at the TV? How many times have we gone to the Wells Fargo Center and yelled at it and screamed and been frustrated with second chance points? Guys getting second chance points. I know it happened a lot in the Heat series last year in the playoffs. I know it happened in the Toronto series last year in the playoffs, and it just drove us crazy. Well, last night in particular, it was the Sixers getting the second chance point. So that was a sight for sore eyes. So great win by the Sixers overall. Here's Tobias Harris breaking it down on why this win was so important and why he wanted to come back. This is courtesy of John Clark, NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Sprained ankle. It's like, hey, maybe we sit you out. Now it's just like, now I'm going back out there. I feel like this is a huge win for us. And a huge win for us to get, even at that point. I knew going into the game that we were all going to come out with this type of energy and this type of buzz to get up to play versus a great team. And, I wanted to be a part of it. So while back here, I just took a moment to gather my thoughts and my mindset and be able to go back out there and play for it.
Be back. Great to have you back. Great to have you fight. Great to have you help lead this team, Toby. Nice to see you in a position where you're able to do that, of course. And it's nice to know that the Sixers can have that kind of depth and that type of effort and that type of talent on the court all together at the same time, despite missing their big three. So it's nice to see all that. Moving on now to football. I know we've talked a lot about Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. Jonathan Gannon addressed the media yesterday. We'll get to his comments in a second. Here's where I'm at on this Wednesday. Again, biggest party day of the year. Here's where I'm at when it comes to this team taking on the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night. Primetime football game. Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers comes to South Philly. Eagles will be debuting their black helmets, which I couldn't care less about. Could not care less about black helmets. Just Don't care. One of those things that just reminds me of, hey, why didn't you go Kelly Green again? Well, there's rules. Yeah, there's rules. You got a new helmet, and where's the Kelly Green jersey? Well, it takes years to really implement. It's been let's see, 12 years. They wore the Kelly Green on that. What was it, 75th anniversary, and then never again. Somehow they got approval for that time, but interesting. A lot of time has passed. Anyway, I digress. So that's what's happening Sunday. But here's where I'm at on the game itself. I really thought that the Green Bay Packers had turned a corner. And we talked about this yesterday with Jeff Kerr a little bit, but to get into a little bit more, I really thought the Green Bay Packers had turned a corner in terms of finding a legit target other than Lazard for Aaron Rodgers and running the football as well as they could run the football with Aaron Jones. And Aaron Rodgers just being, a four-time MVP, and by the way, reigning back-to-back NFL MVP. I thought he had finally figured it out with his receiving core now. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And watching him be able to get on the same page with a guy like Watson, finding him in the end zone 5 times over the last 2 weeks has been wild as someone who just enjoys watching Aaron Rodgers play football. But I don't see them having an answer. I don't see even Aaron Rodgers and his receiving core, most notably, not just Aaron Rodgers, but I don't see a way that they're able to really upset Darius Slade, James Bradbury, and the rest of this Eagles secondary. I don't see them being able to have a top-tier passing game, especially what you just saw against the Tennessee Titans last Thursday. Now, the Packers are going to be very well rested because, again, they played on the Thursday night game, had the long layoff that the Eagles had just had, and now they're going to be coming back. And the Eagles, of course, after that long layoff, lost to the Washington Commanders. The Eagles now are asking the league to come up with another adjustment. Every team in the NFL, for the vast majority of them, I shouldn't say every team, but the vast majority of the NFL, they just want to throw the football. Eagles, of course, adjusted to that by bulking up their secondary as much as they did. Josiah Scott breaking up that play, stepping in for a guy like Avonte Maddox, who, of course, is out on IR right now with his injury. Seeing him step up and make the play that he made last week was awesome because they need that guy to be able to come in that slot corner role and be able to make plays for the Eagles. So it was great for his confidence that he could be out there and filling in for Avonte Maddox in the way that he did in that game. So that was great. The Eagles made the adjustment to the league, as most teams are trying to do, in making sure that they have a great secondary. The Eagles have a great secondary in Bradbury and Slay. So that's great to see. Scott, room for improvement, of course, but at least he gets that confidence booster. Epps, I think, has been a very good player for the Eagles as a safety this season. He's been great in that regard. And a guy like C.D. Deuce, Gardner Johnson, being able to play the way he's played, very versatile throughout this season and leading the NFL in interceptions. Not too shabby, also being able to get into the backfield. So this is a stout secondary right now in the NFL. And T.J. Edwards, by the way, is just on a tear right now as a linebacker in terms of just being aggressive and always being around the football and always being there to make a play or at least to end the play. If the defensive line in previous years wasn't able to get up and get into the backfield like they were last week with Brandon Graham and with Hassan Reddick, especially in crunch time, T.J. Edwards has been there to make the play. The Eagles then saw what the league was doing against them in their two games. Their two games against the Texans and the game against Commanders, and we all know that Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh are now here in Philadelphia. So the Eagles again made the adjustment. Howie Roseman then made the adjustment. Every sport is a game of adjustments. The Eagles keep making their adjustments. The Packers are going to try to make theirs. But if you're going to rely solely on Aaron Rodgers and solely on that receiving core, I mean, you could certainly look at Aaron Rodgers and say there's a game that he could steal. That's the threat when you have a 4-time MVP quarterback. But at 38 years old, throwing to the guys he's throwing to now, including an aging Randall Cobb, who's still got sure hands, no doubt about it, but he's not burning anybody down the field. That's for damn sure. Then I really like the Eagles' odds of giving us a win Sunday night. Really like the Eagles' odds. And watching Aaron Rodgers play that Thursday night game, seeing him miss targets, he was far from perfect in that game. I mean, his completion percentage is right around where it usually is in the 60 to 65%. He's about 61% right now, or 61% in that game. I think he's 64 for the year, which ranks him 10th, just out of the top 10 in completion percentage in the NFL. But you have certainly seen him have his struggles this season and his frustrations above all else. So I think it continues to be a game of adjustments right now, and I just don't see the Green Bay Packers coming in here and upsetting the Philadelphia Eagles at home in prime time. I think Rodgers will have that one play or two that make us go, damn, that's Aaron Rodgers. What are you going to do? But overall, I think it's going to be a comfortable win for the Eagles. That's how I see this game playing out for the Birds. Now, I think Howie Roseman has solidified his stance or his position as the executive of the year in the NFL. I think when you have such a blatant move like he had in getting Sue and getting Joseph, that is like in a tight MVP race, if you will, someone going out there as a quarterback and throwing 6 touchdown passes. It's like, well, damn, he just helped his cause a lot. Well, I think that's exactly what Howie Roseman did and already putting together the roster that he did over the offseason. And then that roster being so good that Sue and Joseph go, well, if I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going to go to Philadelphia. So that being good, doing well at your job, and attracting other people to want to join you is, if that's not executive of the year material, I don't know what is. Just like if Jalen Hurts has the fourth quarter that he has against the Colts, if that's not MVP material, I don't know what is. So watching all this unfold with Howie Roseman, I think without question he's the executive of the year. Now, Jonathan Gannon was asked about how the rotation is going to go and how the rotation continues to produce with Joseph and Sue only getting more reps as time goes on. The way JG started to answer this question was he talked about the versatility of Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave and these guys and the way they play and the way and how versatile they are so that you could bounce them around a little bit by being able to insert guys like Sue and Joseph. Here's the way he answered the question about how rotations go from here on out with Sue and Joseph now playing at the level that they already have in their first game as an Eagle. Here's JG yesterday when he addressed the media.
Oh, I'm talking about Fletch and Hargrave and Milton. You know, we kind of left those Sue and LJ in 2 spots within the certain fronts, and those guys plugged and played around them, which helped them that they didn't have to know everything. So that was huge by those guys. And again, those guys that are up, they're smart and they're versatile. They can play different spots. So I think that goes by the wayside, but that's a huge piece to those guys being able to play that fast coming in here. And then, you know, obviously Sue and LJ have played a lot of ball and they're smart, you know, individuals. So they understand what's going on. Once they put it into their language, then it was, hey, go out and play. And that's what they did. So it was good to get those guys in here, and they played well. And like I said, the whole front played extremely well. I mean, you know, Milton, Grave, and Fletch, they both had, you know, they did some big-time things in that game that really controlled the line of scrimmage. And you see, that's when the D-line controls the line of scrimmage, you're probably pretty good. You're probably going to play pretty good run defense. So shout out to those guys.
And well worth a shout out. No question about that. Well worth a shout out. I still can't get over the idea that those guys got in the building. Let's see. Joseph was Wednesday, got in the building. Sue was Thursday night at 11 p.m. They combined for 7 tackles, 1 sack. They literally, they were great. The first play of the game and one of the last plays of the game when they combined for that sack. They were great. It was whenever I think about this, I always think of the line from Any Given Sunday where Al Pacino is talking to Jamie Foxx. Was it Steamin' Willie Beeman? And he goes, "Come on, son. Go to the Buick. Turn around. Balls in your chest." You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think of. Just breaking it down to its simplest form. You're good at doing this thing. Go out there and do this one thing. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have success. And that's what Joseph did. That's what Sue did in that game against the Colts. And I only see them getting better as they get more familiar with not just the playbook and the terminology, but more familiar with playing with the guys on the defensive line they're going to be playing with. I am just blown away by how good this team has been this year. And I think we'll only get better as time goes on. The Giants are banged up, as we have talked about. The Cowboys, I still think, are the biggest threat in this division with Dak Prescott being there. It'll be an interesting game tomorrow, 4:30 on Thanksgiving, as the Giants and the Cowboys take on one another. The Cowboys, last I saw, were 6-point favorites to win that game at home against the Giants. Giants banged up in their secondary. They're banged up on their offensive line. Still waiting for final note to see who's going to be playing in this game for the Giants. One thing wouldn't surprise me, though. The Giants winning this game wouldn't surprise me based on the short rest idea. Cowboys, again, playing on the road before the Thursday night game. They play a later game on that. They play the middle game, if you will, the 4:25 game. then travel back home. Don't get into Dallas probably until about 10 o'clock at night. I got to go through the whole rigmarole of going back to, or you don't get home till probably about 10 o'clock at night. A little offsetting schedule. Not as terrible or as bad as like a Sunday night game by any means, but not the easiest schedule to deal with there on short rest. They're going into a Thursday night game against a divisional opponent. So it wouldn't shock me if the Giants won this game. But that being said, I do expect the Cowboys to be able to pull it out. I think it'll be a close game, closer than the 6-point line is telling us right now. Let me tell you about my man, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. For over 40 years, Steven has been taking care of people in Philly, and he likes to say he's in the love business. And that's what Steven is. He's in the love business because he wants you to feel the love when you go on the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Holiday season right here, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I don't think I have to bake it. I don't think I have to bring anything to my brother-in-law's. Cigars. I got to bring cigars. Damn it. I have responsibility. So yeah, we got that going on. But the holidays are here. Steven Singer is the place to be. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price, online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Let me tell you the great people of Manscaped, Manscaped.com. They got the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, and they come in the Platinum Package 4.0, which is just fantastic because, fellas, you want to look good everywhere, right? That's why you got a Manscaped. And Manscaped.com is offering you this deal right now. 20% off. 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code Farzy at manscaped.com. So it'll be like 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And they all come with skin-safe technology, by the way. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, skin-safe technology so you can Manscape with confidence and comfort. That's what you got to do. So manscaped.com, promo code Farzy. How about our friends over there at Freestone Farm CBD, Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com, where you can get 20% off with promo code Farzy with Freestone Farm CBD. They're incredible. You'll love their Bayox, their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks into a chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. Genetics of these guys are off the charts. So enjoy. It's perfect for anyone looking to take a more natural approach to everything that they put in their bodies. Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. They'll grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State as well. Freestone Farm CBD, 20% off with promo code Farzy. How about Mojo and the Mojo app? Mojo app's where it's at when it comes to investing in your players. NFL players have stock prices attached to them, share prices attached to them. They got stock value. They rise and fall throughout the season. And guess what? There's no off season because their value is affected by everything that goes on the field and off the field. Any news that goes in on the field, or they get traded in the off season, stock could go up or down on Mojo. So make sure you check it out. They got wide receivers, tight ends, they got quarterbacks, they got running backs, and all their stocks go up and down throughout the year. And the idea is just like a stock. Buy low, sell high. Make yourself some money on the Mojo app. Available in New Jersey on iOS. Go to mojo.com for more information. Let me tell you about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. Before I get to the chat check, I want to mention it one more time, ladies and gentlemen. If you want in on the Farzy Show party, we have picked a time, 8 o'clock tonight. Hit me up on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever. DM me, say, yeah, I want to have a drink with you guys, whatever. Doesn't have to be alcoholic. I'm not pushing booze on people here, okay? But if you like to have a drink, you can have a soda. You can have a water. It's all good. And join us, and I'll be here 8 o'clock. I'll send you guys a link. You can jump on whenever. We have a special guest who's going to join us during the show at some point, maybe a couple more. And we'll just sit here and we'll chill. We'll talk about the show. We'll talk about the Philly sports scene. Talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm just going to be here. I'll be curating, if you will. I'll be on the panel. I'll be playing point guard, making sure everyone's talking. We're all having a good time. Please, I beg you, because they'll think of it as a family show. No nudity. Thank you. I'm looking at you, Mally. Anyway. PJ, are you jumping on? Is it official? Are you going to be around tonight? PJ making an appearance. There you go. I can tell you this: Ben Simmons will not. Ben Simmons will not be on the show. He's not invited to the party. Not invited. All right. Let's get to the chat check. See how you wonderful people are doing on this fine morning. Kevin, good morning. T-Bro, happy Wasted Wednesday, everybody. Oh, man. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Doylestown or not, but that's where I grew up, and that's where I went to school. I went to Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and all my friends are pretty much friends from that group. My close-knit circle, they're guys I graduated 8th grade with at Mount Carmel. We had some good nights at Finney's. There was a progression. Our progression, we go to the divest of dive bars, the Amber Inn. Okay? We go there, we'd have a drink, maybe shoot pool, and then we go into town. We make the cold walk into town. And then we go to Finney's. Very rarely we went to Mesquite Grill. But I do remember this. I do remember drinking at Finney's, and someone was like, "Hey, Justin Garidi is at Mesquite Grill. Let's go beat the crap out of him." It never happened. They didn't beat the crap. I didn't see any stories about Justin Garidi getting the crap beat out of him. But Justin Garidi was from Doylestown, American Idol fame. And yeah, I just remember that, and I'm like, "Wow, that's our claim to fame. That's hilarious." But by all accounts, he was a wonderful guy. But that was just like one of the stupid things that you hear over here. And we were at Finney's. We heard somebody say that, and nothing happened. And then there's a bar called Stephanie's. Downstairs at Stephanie's, where they would have like live music, which was pretty cool. And just be totally poop faced. And then there's a Steak and Hoagie Works down the other end of the other side of town. That was just mobbed, and we'd all get cheesesteaks. Oh, good times. I'm surprised I remember this. So I guess that's a good sign. And then like one of our friends' dads would pick us up. Wow, that's dating myself. This is before Uber. Anyway, but yeah, happy Wasted Wednesday. You too, T-Bro. Talk to you tonight, pal. Mally, what's going on? Sean, everybody, good morning. Sean Gillespie, morning, everyone. I actually thought I was dreaming about the Sixers win. Amazing. Go, Doc. Did you see Doc Rivers and Ben actually do the bro hug after the game? To steal a line from my friend Hollis Thomas. Awkward. Let's see. How did the Nets lose? They don't need a coach. Sean, you're not wrong. April, Ben just being Ben. That was entertaining, wasn't it, last night? Especially with the fact that he was missing free throws. He gave us free nuggets. And he disappeared in the fourth quarter. Here's Ben's numbers. I don't think I gave you his numbers last. Yeah, I was trying to pull that up. Here you go. Ben last night, 11 points on 4 of 7 shooting. That's what I do have for you. Here's his shot chart last night. Look familiar? That's his shot chart last night. 11 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 3 turnovers. What was he from the charity stripe? 50%? Nah, that's about right. So yeah, all those points, all that stuff, that was recorded in the previous 3 quarters. He did not record a stat in the fourth quarter. There may have been one. Let me just make sure, because you know what, I'm a sucker for accuracy. There may have been one stat he recorded. Wait, no. The one stat he recorded was minutes played, which he played 5 in the fourth quarter. To no avail. So how about that? What else do we have here? Thank you, April. T-Bro, everyone's partying. PJ. Sean Gillespie. Batteries are too expensive to throw. Yeah, that's a good point. April. Saying good morning to Alyssa. Alyssa, hello. 109876s. PJ, what are you talking about here? I don't like the guy. Print it. April, I still don't believe him. The fact that he used mental health as an excuse is disgusting. Thank you, April. What drove me crazy during that process was like people saying something along the lines of like, you don't support mental health. I hope you have mental health issues. No one believes you. It's like, well, hold on a second. This doesn't mean I'm not compassionate to people that have mental health issues. I am compassionate about that. I am. I hate to use the word accepting. Understanding is the word I'm looking for. For me, mental health not rearing its ugly head, not being mentioned until the idea of losing money comes into it, is a hard thing for a lot of people to get past. That's a hard thing for a lot of people to get past. You feel like a sucker. So it's not to say you're not compassionate towards mental health. You just can look at one individual, one isolated incident and go, I don't think so. That doesn't make any sense to me. Because here's why. There is something to be gained, and not in a morbid way. But I think if Ben came out in the summer, or Ben actually said at some point over the offseason about how he was having struggles in his personal life, if that was the case, I'm not wishing anything upon anybody, but if he came out and we were a part of the conversation, and it wasn't just, I'm not showing up, don't come see me. So wait a minute. By Ben bringing up the idea that no one went to see him when he was out in LA, he didn't return text messages from these people. Doc Rivers was out there. Doc Rivers said he tried to contact Ben. Ben wanted nothing to do with it. And then Ben wants to use that against him? You didn't want to see me when I was there? No, literally, I was out there and you didn't want me to come over. So if Doc Rivers visits, everything's fine. If Joel Embiid was out there working out, everything would have been fine. If he was out in LA, doesn't make any damn sense. Doesn't make any damn sense. Batteries are too expensive to throw. Sean, you're not wrong. Let's see here. Alyssa, watching them shake hands after the game was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever seen. Yeah, Alyssa, it was awkward. It was pretty awkward. I will try to keep the potty mouth in check. April, what are we? Oh, for tonight? Oh, April, no nudity. Okay, yeah. I will be, guys. I don't want to make you guys feel uncomfortable. Tonight, I will be wearing a t-shirt. So no cleavage. No cleavage. Maybe by the end of the, because I plan to go for like an hour and, go from 8 to 9 and we just hang out, shoot the you-know-what. I'll have some fun little topics to drop in, see how everybody's feeling. Mihai, what's up, Mihai? April, Mark, everyone, this Thanksgiving. Let's be thankful Ben Simmons is not a Sixer anymore. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you. April, oh, man, Mark is pushing buttons. Charles Adderley. Please tell me that's your real name. Good morning, watching from Nassau in the Bahamas, Sixers country. Outstanding stream. Thank you, Charles Adderley. That's like and it was discovered by the explorer, Charles Adderley. Anyway, Sean, damn, no nudity. Sorry, Sean. Well, here's the deal. I don't really curse on this show, but I do got myself a potty mouth. So that might come out tonight if I have a JD in the hands. Ray Fitzgerald, what's up, Ray? We got 2 more years left of Tucker. All he does is stand in the corner, and he's absolutely does nothing. I was really hoping he was going to hit that corner 3 in the 3rd quarter. Airball. T-Bro, what's happening, T-Bro? First Fridays in Doylestown, always a high school reunion, I think that means. Yeah, school. There you go. High school reunion. First Fridays. I was at the first Friday. It was the year 2000, 22 years ago. And I remember we went to CB West to see, God, what the hell was that Broadway singer's name? She was in like Annie or something. McCardle? Andrea McCardle? Andrea McCardle? Whatever her name was. She was there. And it was at CB West High School. And it was the first Friday. And then I think all of Doylestown government looked at each other and they were like, we should do this like every first Friday. Like every year? No, every month. You're crazy. Love me some Doylestown. Wow, my shot chart could look just like Ben's. Yeah, all Ben had to do was take responsibility. Yeah, you're right. Shaw, damn, no cleavage either. What the hell? Charles Adderley came up with a symbol for boron. Charles Adderley. Yeah, that's my real name. Hey, Charles, welcome. Good to have you aboard from the beautiful Bahamas. Thanks for joining us for the party, man. Once again, anyone who wants to join, hit me up, and I'll be sure to send you guys a link. I might just end up posting a link, and if I do that, I'm going to guarantee there's going to be nudity. I'm going to guarantee you there's going to be nudity. A lot of nudes, if that's the case. That was a chat check. Thanks very much. Let's get to our morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Sixers, after their 115-106 win over the Brooklyn Nets, now travel to Charlotte for tonight's game. They got a back-to-back. Joel Embiid not playing in this game tonight either. They'll take on the Hornets. 7 o'clock tip-off in Charlotte tonight. Oh God, do I have to. Come on. I gotta be real here. Flyers 7-8-4 on the season. They've lost 7 in a row. They're back at it tonight against the Washington Capitals. 7:30 puck drop. And oh goody, it'll be for a national audience as well on TNT. Flyers' most recent loss came at home against Calgary Flames 5-2. Carter Hart was in net for that game. It did not go well. It didn't go well for anybody involved. Flyers not having a great year. Not having a great year even in the least bit. That's the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Tonight, 8 o'clock. Have yourself a drink. Sit back, relax. Let's talk. Let's BS a little bit. Let's have ourselves a good time. Like I said, some topics will be sports. Some topics will be you. I will ask you guys what you're thankful for most in the sports world. And I want to throw out some ideas for the show because I've been thinking about making some changes here. And I want to see what you guys have to say about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Jim Hyde, produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to some of you guys tonight at 8. See ya.